Opioids, the most powerful painkillers ever discovered, and the most addictive drugs on Earth. To understand opioids, you need to understand that your brain already makes its own version of them. They are called endorphins. When you exercise hard, fall in love, eat something delicious, or feel pride, your brain releases endorphins. Endorphins bind to opioid receptors in your brain and create feelings of pleasure and pain relief. Opioid drugs work by hijacking those exact same receptors, but they bind up to 100 times stronger than your natural endorphins. Humans discovered this about 6,000 years ago, when the Sumerians noticed that eating poppy plants caused intense euphoria and killed pain. From those same poppy plants, humans eventually extracted morphine in 1804, heroin in 1898, and later synthesized oxycodone, hydrocodone, and finally fentanyl. Fentanyl is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. A dose the size of a few grains of salt is enough to kill an adult. So why are opioids so addictive? Because your brain adapts. After repeated use, your brain notices that opioids are doing the endorphin job. It starts reducing its own endorphin production. It outsources. Now when you stop taking the drug, your brain has almost no natural pain relief and almost no natural pleasure. Everything hurts. Nothing feels good. This is withdrawal. Cramping, vomiting, insomnia, and extreme pain. Not because the drug was poison, but because the brain forgot how to function without it. The most dangerous moment of opioid use is not withdrawal. It is relapse after a period of abstinence. After abstinence, tolerance drops. If someone relapses and uses the same dose they used before, their brain can no longer handle it. Opioid overdose works by turning off the breathing reflex. The brain simply stops sending the signal to inhale. Naloxone, sold as Narcan, instantly kicks opioids off their receptors and reverses an overdose within 2 to 3 minutes. Opioids are not going away. They are still essential medicines for surgery and severe pain. The crisis is not the drug. It is the access, the dosing, and what happens after. Stimulants, the drugs that push your brain faster than it was built to go. Your brain has a reward system built around a chemical called dopamine. It exists to make you pursue things that help you survive. Food, connection, achievement. When you accomplish something, dopamine spikes. You feel good. Your brain says, do that again. This is how motivation works. Stimulants work by flooding that system with far more dopamine than any natural activity could ever produce. The mildest stimulant most people use daily is caffeine. It does not directly boost dopamine, instead it blocks adenosine, the chemical that builds up and makes you feel tired. Nicotine triggers dopamine release in the reward system. It is mild enough that it does not cause dramatic intoxication, but strong enough to create one of the hardest addictions to break. Cocaine works by blocking the dopamine reuptake pump. Normally, after dopamine is released, the brain recycles it. Cocaine stops that recycling. The result is an intense 30-minute burst of confidence, energy, and euphoria. When it wears off, dopamine levels crash below baseline. The user feels worse than before they started. That crash is what drives repeated use. Users are not chasing the high, they are chasing a return to normal. Methamphetamine works by forcing neurons to release massive amounts of dopamine and blocking the reuptake pump at the same time. The dopamine flood from meth is estimated to be 10 times more intense than cocaine, and it lasts 8 to 12 hours instead of 30 minutes. After repeated meth use, the dopamine system itself becomes damaged. Scans show permanent reduction in dopamine receptors in long-term users. This causes anhedonia, the complete inability to feel natural pleasure. Food tastes like nothing. Relationships feel empty. Only the drug produces any sensation at all. Recovery from stimulant addiction requires giving the dopamine system time to rebuild. This process can take 6 months to 2 years. Depressants, the drugs that slow your brain down, and why stopping them can actually kill you. Your nervous system is always running two competing signals: excitatory neurons that fire each other up, inhibitory neurons that calm things down. The main inhibitory chemical in your brain is called GABA. It is the brake pedal of the nervous system. Depressants work by enhancing GABA effect. They push that brake pedal harder, slowing down neural activity across the whole brain. The result is reduced anxiety, muscle relaxation, slowed thinking, and sedation. This is why alcohol, benzodiazepines, and barbiturates all feel similar despite being different chemicals. Alcohol is the most widely consumed psychoactive substance on Earth. It is also legal, socially accepted, and one of the most pharmacologically dangerous substances humans use. When you drink regularly, your brain compensates by reducing its GABA sensitivity, and ramping up excitatory signals to stay balanced. In this adapted state, the alcohol is not making you relaxed. It is just returning you to normal. Without it, you feel anxious, shaky, and unable to sleep. When a severely alcohol-dependent person stops suddenly, the excitatory system is fully ramped up with nothing to slow it down. The brain can go into uncontrolled electrical activity, seizures. In some cases, they are fatal. This is why alcohol withdrawal is medically considered more dangerous than heroin withdrawal. Heroin withdrawal is agonizing. Alcohol withdrawal can stop your heart. Benzodiazepines like Xanax, Valium, and Klonopin work identically to alcohol at the GABA receptor. They are among the most prescribed drugs in the world. They are highly effective for anxiety and insomnia in the short term. The problem is tolerance builds quickly, and stopping after long-term use requires medical supervision. Hallucinogens, the category that does not add chemicals your brain never had. It confuses the ones that are already there. Your brain does not see reality directly. It constructs a model of reality using information from your senses, filtered and organized by neurotransmitters. The key organizer chemical is serotonin. It helps your brain decide which sensory signals are important and how to interpret them. Hallucinogens like LSD and psilocybin have a molecular shape almost identical to serotonin. They fit into serotonin receptors and scramble the filtering process. With the filter broken, raw unprocessed sensory data floods in, sounds become colors. Patterns breathe, objects melt, time stretches. This is not the brain creating new things that do not exist. It is the brain processing real sensory information in a completely disorganized way. LSD was discovered in 1938 by a Swiss chemist named Albert Hofmann. He accidentally absorbed a tiny amount through his skin and spent the next few hours on a profoundly strange bicycle ride home. A full dose of LSD weighs 100 micrograms. That is 1/10,000th of a single grain of salt, invisible to the naked eye. Despite its potency, LSD does not cause physical dependence. Your brain does not build tolerance to it in the way it does to opioids or stimulants. Psilocybin, the compound in magic mushrooms, works almost identically. It is currently being studied at Johns Hopkins and New York University as a treatment for depression and PTSD. In clinical trials, a single supervised dose of psilocybin has produced lasting reductions in depression and addiction in up to 60% of participants. The risk of hallucinogens is not addiction. It is psychological. A bad trip is a genuine mental emergency that in rare cases can trigger lasting anxiety or psychosis. The same characteristic that makes hallucinogens therapeutic, the complete disruption of normal thinking patterns, is also what makes them dangerous without proper preparation. 4 categories, 4 mechanisms. Opioids fill the pain receptors. Stimulants flood the reward system. Depressants hit the brain's brakes. Hallucinogens break the sensory filter. Every drug ever made, legal or illegal, fits somewhere in this framework. Knowing where it fits tells you exactly what it does and why people cannot stop. If you want to see more like this, subscribe.